This is the tomb of Sir John Spencer and his wife in the city church, buried around about 1610. John Spencer, at one time possibly the richest man in England, lent money to the crown, knighted by Queen Elizabeth, had many properties, owned many manors, but Broomfield was one of his properties. And his name appears on one of the early maps, 16th century maps of Broomfield, confirming he was an owner of Broomfield House. So this house, made by a local Enfield father and son couple, expert model makers, amateurs, made the model in the 1950s, representing the house as it was about the time the house came into council ownership, around about 1900. This was owned by a widow, owned the house on her own, ran it on her own for maybe 30 years, Judith Jackson, Mrs. Judith Jackson. She commissioned alterations, enlargements, improvements, a grand hall with a fine oak staircase with these beautiful pre-power tools, 3 types of spindle on the banister there, and of course going around the staircase hall on the plaster walls were the murals, the Lanscroon Murals, which were completed by Gerard Lanscroon in 1726. So this is a mural of the goddess Minerva. Most of the figures in the Lanscroon murals are female goddesses, interestingly, and maybe there's a connection with the fact that Mrs. Judith Jackson was the powerful, rich owner of the estate, and maybe she's making some kind of statement about that. We don't fully understand the mythology of all these different figures, but anyway, so here is Minerva with her owl. She's a goddess of many things, including odd things like weaving, warfare, wisdom. Very talented female goddess, and there's a little Cupid looking out. She's also holding a shield which she might have used to defend herself, defending herself against the Gorgon, so she wouldn't be turned to stone. So this was 2 pieces, which was restored by Tom Organ of Arte Conservation. You have to look quite hard to find a join, and you need to stand back a little bit. People wouldn't have been able to go that close to it. This would have been up towards the ceiling. You can see the ceiling coving there, so we'd have been looking up to Minerva from maybe a little bit down here. Painted about 1726 by this Flemish artist Gerard Lanscroon, who also did participate in grand commissions in places like Windsor Castle and some very big aristocratic mansions up and down the country. Sadly, it seems he died in poverty in London, not so long after completing this commission. So at the back of Minerva here, we can catch a glimpse of the ladies who were involved in cutting down the panels and protecting the surfaces with protective layers before they were stowed away for long-term storage, as it turned out, well over 30 years in various warehouses around the borough. This is the stuffed fox that so many people with fond memories of Broomfield House particularly remember. He seems to be quite a fine specimen. No idea who actually killed him and then stuffed him. But of course, he came from the museum, the Southgate Museum that was established in Broomfield House for many years. Several rooms laid out in typical kind of late Victorian Edwardian manner, with lots and lots of cases of specimens of animals, plants, rocks. So again, so typical of those early 20th century, late 19th century museums. Lots of colourful objects, not necessarily from one particular part of the world, but looking interesting and pretty. Lots of cases of butterflies, beautiful tropical birds. The model boat pond was created about 1910. Of course, there's wonderful early pictures of Edwardian gents and ladies, boaters, and wonderful full Edwardian skirts and things like that, and the little kids with their model boats.
Here are a few photographs of the exhibits at the Broomfield House exhibition.